So here, I'm going to give you direct quotes. The first two are from Saban, and the final one is a short one from Kirby Smart. This was during the press conferences this weekend, and they got asked about NIL. Nick Saban said, quote, "Name, image, and likeness is a positive thing for players. They've got the opportunity to earn money. I don't think that's a bad thing. What is concerning is how that it's used to get players to decide where they're going to school. I don't think that was the intention. We need some kind of national legislation to control that. There will be an imbalance as to who dominates college football if it isn't regulated." Kirby Smart added, "The separation that is already there is going to grow larger." And the national reaction was, "Oh, they're just warning you. They're just warning you. This is Nick Saban. Nick Saban cares about college football. Kirby Smart, they care about the health of college football. They're just warning you that they're going to make it even harder for you with NIL. So they want it legislated so to make sure that, you know, college football is healthy and they don't dominate." That was the national reaction. Even Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk got roasted for saying, translation, "I'm worried about my ability to dominate college football." And everybody's like, "Oh, Florio, you're an idiot." No, I think Florio nailed it. I think Nick Saban and Kirby Smart are both talking like this because the way the system is currently set up does not benefit them as much as the pre-NIL era, and I will die on that hill forever. It is also rich hearing Nick Saban talking about imbalance in college football when he is college football's imbalance. Anyway.
Yeah, and I don't think he has to apologize for that.
He shouldn't. I mean, he's done an exceptional job.
But I think that's a fascinating observation that you make. Because in a pre-NIL setting, Deion Sanders doesn't have the ability to go out and get one of the best players arguably the best player in the entire country.
Kentucky is not signing a top 10 class in the pre-NIL era. Not happening.
Ole Miss isn't in the running for getting Caleb Williams as a transfer. Now, I don't think Ole Miss is phone call. I don't think Ole Miss is going to end up with Caleb Williams. It sounds like with Jackson Dart transferring out of Southern Cal, it probably opens up for what we probably most thought was inevitable anyway.
Yep, and keep an eye on Ole Miss in that one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where that goes.
People that cover USC are saying to keep an eye on Ole Miss for that one.
Yeah, and apparently part of the John David Baker appears to be part of the connection there, who's on the Ole Miss staff.
That helps.
We'll see. We'll see when it's all said and done. But the point is simply that if you have people who are willing to get into the NIL game. Hey, Borky, you talked on Friday, I think it was, and I don't remember the specifics of the conversation with regard to the NCAA, where, you know, basically you can just set up shop and say, "Come at us, NCAA. We're paying players," and it's
there's not really a whole lot they can do about it if you're, checking the boxes.
If it's done right. I mean, I don't think it's as simple as just we're paying everybody, y'all come. But I certainly understand the sentiment of where you're going. But if done correctly, and if the commitment to do it correctly and the resources to do it correctly is there, you got some people who can come closer to getting on similar footing with Alabama and Georgia and Texas A&M, which, frankly, Texas A&M has put themselves on that footing.
Yeah, I mean, they just signed, as we said before, the best or highest-rated recruiting class in the history of 24/7 sports.
Yeah. And it cost them a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely it did. I just what is hard for me to wrap my mind around is people buying this. Do you honestly think Kirby Smart is sitting in his office in Athens thinking, you know what would be good for me if everybody else got better? If they took some of my arrows out of my quiver, if they took some ammo from my gun and gave it to Tennessee and gave it to Florida and Kentucky and South Carolina, it would be better for everybody if my job was harder. Do you honestly think that's his motivation here? And the thing is, I don't disagree with some of what Nick Saban has said. We've talked on this show before about how I think NIL needs a time frame, like the NFL and free agency. Portal's open on this date, portal closes on this date. You get in the portal, you sign by these dates, just like free agency. And NIL needs some sort of oversight to where when you're offering inducements, it's still against your rules if you ever can figure out how to enforce them, NCAA. But just because you agree with what the message is doesn't mean the messenger's intentions are pure. In the way people in our business were taught, oh, they're just protecting college football, and Nick Saban's warning you. No, he's not warning you. He watched what Texas A&M did. He got beat on the recruiting trail this year by an SEC West foe. That's what happened, and he's upset about it. Kirby Smart watched Kentucky sign a top 10 class. Kentucky is as an opponent for Georgia, Kentucky is as difficult as they've ever been because of NIL.
Yeah.
They're not sitting in their office hoping that college football's balanced. They are just Georgia probably has the most expensive roster ever assembled in college football, and that was built and bought pre-NIL.
Sure it is.
So these guys are not protecting college football. They're not warning us. They're trying to stop this because it stops them from just being able to do what they've done that's gotten them to this point. Because now Kentucky's a player, and A&M's a player, and Texas is a player. And like you said, Caleb Williams, even if he signs with USC, strongly considered Ole Miss. He would not have done that if not for the NIL era.
It's a different era in college football. It absolutely is. And some people are saying, well, it's, this is awful for the game, and who knows, maybe it is. Maybe time will tell. It's kind of like college football is going to endure. It's changed before. It will change again. We're going to continue to see it evolve, not involve, but continue to see it evolve. And we'll see where we end up. I think we're